Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday edition of your breakfast from Leadership Television inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Webo, and of course, your host on the program. And I want to apologize for bringing this program a bit behind schedule. We're experiencing some technical glitches. Without wasting much time, we'll head up to our menu where we have papers for review this Tuesday, starting off with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership's leading story says death of Chimamanda's son. Lawyers back Agbakoba's call for health regulation overhaul. Death of Chimamanda's son. Lawyers back Agbakoba's call for health regulation overhaul. The story continues on page 4 of Leadership. We have pictures of a security vehicle stationed outside the Kano State Government House amid heightened political tension in the state yesterday. These are the cover's picture on the cover of Leadership. Tight security at Kano Government House amid rumors of Governor Yusuf's imminent defection. Sanwo-Olu Obasanjo mourn as Oba of Badagry dies at 89. Governor Elias says I'll clear pending pensions gratuities this month of January. U.S. revokes over 100,000 visas, including thousands of student permits. U.S. revokes over 100,000 visas, including thousands of student permits. Police probe death of 6 family members in Rivers. Fubara Odu served with notices of allegations, Rivers Assembly spokesman. That story is on page 6 of Leadership. And on the business bus of Leadership for mobilizing unprecedented social investment across states and fault lines and for turning compassion into measurable relief at scale. Senator Oluremi Tinubu is Person of the Year 2025. Congratulations to the First Lady. And of course, Leadership's Conference Awards is coming up shortly in the month of February. Atop the masthead is an advertorial next called Ernest Obiejesi and Nena Obiejesi's appeal suffer major setback as Supreme Court orders them back to the Court of Appeal. Judge cautions debtors must prepay debts rather than file cases. That story continues on page 7 of Leadership. Is an advertorial on the pending Nestor situation. Without wasting much time, we move to page 3 of Leadership, where we have our stand. Today's stand is on the bold reforms in WAEC and NECO. From our stand, we move to the back page, where we have Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu. Today is writing on PricewaterhouseCoopers economic outlook and projected poverty. PricewaterhouseCoopers Nigeria Economic Outlook and Projected Poverty. Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu. Let's take some quotes from that column. It says by 2026, up to 141 million Nigerians, roughly 62% of the population, may be living in poverty, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers. The headlines drew attention because poverty is not an abstraction, it is lived reality. PwC's projections confirm what millions already feel. Quotes from today's Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu. Before we leave the back page, we visit Ghana Must Go. Party Scribe says APC recorded over 2 million digitally verified members. And Ghana Must Go replied, AI verified? Have you confirmed? Is it AI verified? According to Ghana Must Go. It's on that note we conclude review of Leadership newspaper. For more, log into the website of Leadership. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is The Punch. The Punching story today, Tuesday, January 13th, says 2-year refining milestone. Fuel import spending crashes 54% to $6.7 billion. All kudos to Dangote Refinery. Fuel import spending crashes 54% to $6.7 billion. Beef falls from $14 billion in 2023 to $11 billion in 2024 and $6.7 billion in 2025. Experts push for refining boom. Trump threatens airstrikes on Iran as protest deaths hit 600. We also have the picture on the protest in Iran on the cover of the Punch newspaper. Trump rescue Iran. We see some protesters carrying placards. 21,000 unregistered refugees in Nigeria coming from UN agency. 21,000 unregistered refugees in Nigeria. That takes us to the stories beside and atop the masthead of the Punch. Impeachment storm. Fubara says no notice as two lawmakers pull out. 2027, APC targets 9 million registered members. Opposition kicks. PDP APC fight for control of Osun local government secretariats. And lastly, on the cover of the Punch, federal government votes 19 billion naira for VP's aircraft engine orders. And that also concludes the review of front headline stories on the Punch newspaper this Tuesday. For more, log into the website of the Punch. We head up to the next paper we have on our lineup this Tuesday, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian's leading story says APC stakeholders wade into Rivers crisis impeachment plot. We have the picture of the stakeholders beneath that leading story, and the story continues on page 6 of The Guardian. New Awujale to emerge next month as Kingmakers screen 86 nominees. Bandits key to abduct several at Katsina wedding as government clarifies swap deal. MBS allays fears over December inflation spike as Obi warns of poverty. Release or arraign officers detained over remote coup attempt. Falana tells military. Presidency to spend 1.98 billion on fueling generators this year is the story that is making the cover in some of the lineups today. KPMG chiefs NROS meets to address errors in new tax laws. Developing story. The KPMG has already alerted that there are some discrepancies and errors in the new tax reforms, and the NROC, which took over, which replaced the FIROS, the meeting today to discuss to address errors in new tax laws. Obi forced Tinubu's UAE trip, says Nigeria can't be governed from abroad. And lastly, on the cover of The Guardian, gunmen kidnap 8, demand 100 million naira ransom in Edo. And that also concludes the review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Tuesday. Don't forget to log into the website of The Guardian for continuation of these stories. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard's leading story says how manufacturing sector can grow in 2026, according to experts. Effective execution of new tax laws incentives critical, coming from Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN. Macroeconomic stability key to sustain growth. Onafo Wokan. Cautious optimism on economic outlook, CPPE, year of reaping benefits of reform, SCCI. Kickers to the leading story of today's Vanguard newspaper, how manufacturing sector can grow in 2026. Second leading story on the cover of Vanguard today says Rivers crisis, why Fubara is here to receive impeachment notice. Rivers crisis, why Fubara is here to receive impeachment notice. Pandef inaugurates reconciliatory panel, gives it 2 weeks to broker truce. Temper justice with mercy. 2 Rivers lawmakers ask colleagues to halt impeachment. Your action assault on Tinubu Mosop, says Rivers Assembly. North Central APC Forum dismisses calls for Wike's resignation. Still on the cover of Vanguard, education reforms, federal government ASU to unveil new agreement tomorrow. Security lockdown at Kano government house over Yusuf's rumored APC defection. 2027, Atiku PDP, CUPP decry alleged crackdown on dissent. And that concludes the review of front headline stories on Vanguard this Tuesday. And that also concludes the review of newspaper review on our segment on Inside Nigeria. For more, don't forget to log into the website of Vanguard. And that's also where we draw the curtain on today's show. Don't forget to log in tomorrow for another fresh edition of the program. My name is Winifred Weber. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.